Really take a look how this and this as well has really improved my riding off-road. So hello folks, it's Richard here from Bikepacking Adventures. Hope you are doing well. You join me on this absolutely glorious spring day. It's Sunday, the clocks just went forward. In this short video we're going to talk about how the Redshift suspension system has really helped improve my riding off-road. It was September last year I reached out to Redshift. It was a matter of weeks later they sent me their seat post and stem. The conversation I had with Redshift was, I've got this ride across video planned. Do you want to support the channel, support me, and at the same time have this suspension system to be able to do a full review on, featuring all the videos. And 6 months on, that want has turned firmly into a need. So keep on watching and I'll explain how the Redshift suspension system really has changed my off-road riding. Gravel this, gravel that. I know what you're thinking. Do I need a gravel bike? Absolutely not. I mean, you can use any old road bike. Oh, and by the way, I do so gravel bikes, just not on a Sunday. Now I was going to insert some stock footage here, but let's do something different. Close your eyes if you will and join me just for a moment. You're cycling along a smooth road, not a pothole in sight, for mile after mile. And then you wake up and you're no longer in Mallorca, you're home in the UK. Potholes everywhere, craters left, right and centre. As long as your local government continues to prioritise the building of roads everywhere, this is what you're going to end up with in a few years' time. Okay, not country road. The point is, local roads, town roads, beat roads will turn into mush like this. And that's because building more and more roads is counterproductive. It gets so expensive that local government just cannot afford to keep on top of repairing all the potholes. So, just another reason why you might want to consider the Redshift suspension system for your bike, whether it's road, gravel, Brompton, whatever it might be. Although I might want to have to check that one up. So I'm not going to tell you how it works because, you know, I don't care about that. I want to know what the benefit of having the suspension system on the bike is. Now, basically, it's to reduce road buzz, terrain buzz, is that a thing? It also helps to reduce fatigue as well. Now what I'm also finding particularly useful, when I ride off-road, I can ride with narrower tyres. So in the past when I've ridden off-road, I've gone with 45mm tyres. But now, today, I've been riding these 38s. Schwalbe Pro 1s, front and rear. Now admittedly, these are slicks, but in a week or two's time, they will be replaced with something more grippier, more rugged. Now when I received this stem and seat post through the post, I went straight to my mechanic. Can you fit these to the bike please? And in the pack they came with, I think they're called elastomers, which are these spongy things that you put in both the seat post and the stem. Varying degrees of sponginess, let's call it that. So you can make the suspension either softer or harder. Now I said to my mechanic, just choose the middle value for both. And for me, that's bit worked perfectly fine. But there is a flexibility to get in there and change the elastomers, presumably fairly easily. I've never bothered, I'm quite happy with my setup. So when I ride bikes, I ride the most appropriate bike for the situation. I'm lucky enough to have a road bike, a mountain bike and a gravel bike as well. So depending on what sort of ride I'm going to go on, I choose the most appropriate bike. But you might not want to buy a mountain bike. It was quite late in the game before I bought a mountain bike, and you might have the question about, should I just go for a mountain bike? Isn't the suspension system doing the similar sort of thing? Big difference really. In mountain biking suspension, they have this thing called travel, and I prefer to call it as drop because it's easier to visualize. So on a typical mountain bike, travel is in excess of 100 millimeters. Something like a suspension system from Redshift, it's only a short movement. So to demonstrate, but it's only a short movement. I think it's 20 millimeters. If I'm wrong, I'll pop it up on screen. And it's similar at the front as well. It just is like a couple, 2 centimeters worth of travel drop, and it just takes like I say, it's just to take the edge off the terrain you're riding on. It will not be enough for a full-on mountain bike trail, but it's surprising where you can ride the gravel bike. As long as you can put up with the strains on your arms and things, you can take a gravel bike lots of different places. I mean, there's places where I definitely wouldn't ride a gravel bike. There's places where I've tried to ride a gravel bike and gone, next time I'll go on the mountain bike. Places such as the Yorkshire Dales and the North Yorkshire Moors, some of those tracks, especially the North Yorkshire Moors. I've done a 300 out that way, and it was definitely a mountain bike, and to some extent the Yorkshire Dales is very similar, but you can get away on a gravel bike. In both places, really just depends where you're riding and the conditions, time of year, how dry it is, how big are the rocks that you're going to be crossing over. I guess the easy question is, can you get around on tyres that are measured in millimetres versus tyres that are measured in inches? If you think it's inches, the gravel bike is probably not going to cut it. Although, like I've said already, I do push it. And you can too, why not? It's how you improve your abilities as well. Now, how far you can push that bike of yours. While I'm talking about Redshift, I may as well talk about the Aero Bars. I'll pop the exact model I've got on this bike. I won't do a separate video because I can't imagine myself talking about a bit of metal for 5 minutes. But suffice to say, they're fantastic. I use them all the time. I did have a bike fit back in, I think it was November, from Jess at UK Bike Fit in Matlock, and you've got to do both really to enjoy and make use of an Aero Bar. Sorry, I'm just watching where I'm going. I'm going off road in a moment. Although in the past, and I still do often do it now if it's not sort of right circumstance, you can just use Aero Bars to hang shit off. I've certainly done a lot of that myself. It's amazing what you can get in this small little space, whether it's arm warmers, leg warmers, rain jacket. As long as you've got straps to firm it up in place, you can get so much on these. Here's an example of a road that suddenly turns into mush. Great for gravel bikes, great for suspension, just like gravel, just takes that buzz, means your ass is a bit more comfortable, looks after your hands as you're going across. You can ride faster as long as you've got the skills, and now it's just to push on through. In the past I would not have a GoPro in my hand talking to you right now, going along surfaces like this, but it just takes the edge off. One thing I haven't mentioned yet, or made clear, is when you do have the suspension system on and you're going downhill, you tend to sit down more on the saddle rather than lifting yourself off. I remember a lot before I had the Redshift, I used to constantly go downhill, or not even go downhill, just sitting my bum off the saddle as a means to keep pressure off my backside. But with the Redshift, that's of course it's important, but not as much. Really depends, of course, on the terrain, as always. If it's really, really chunky and uneven, you're off the saddle no matter what. Right, I've reached my most southerly point now. Time to turn back north. I'm not looking forward to that because I'm expecting a headwind. So today it's just been a ride around Nottinghamshire, North Notts. Anyway, time for me to head back north into Lincolnshire. And I'll finish this video with an honest review in a little while. Yep, so that's where I am. The Axholme Line Local Nature Reserve. It's an old disused railway line. Nothing fancy, they haven't really done anything to it. Maybe cut back vegetation every now and again, but that's about it. Anyway, I'm just stuck to enjoy a flapjack. But before talking to my flapjack, I'll just talk to you a bit more about the Redshift suspension system. So my final thoughts: red shit or red hot? What's the easy one? You probably gathered watching through this. Red hot. So just an excellent admission to the bike. You know, having a bit of travel up front, it's hard to show on the handlebars and on the stem as well. It just makes it so much more comfortable out riding the bike. You can just ride for so much longer. And like I said earlier, narrower tyres. What else? I can't think of many cons, to be honest. Even the price is pretty good. It's not expensive. Con, I guess, there's more weight on your bike, but that's the compromise you make for having a more comfortable ride. Right, I hope you enjoyed this video, my review of the Redshift suspension system. An honest review. If you've got any thoughts, comments, stick them down below. Do you use Redshift, whether it's the suspension, the seat post, or the handlebars, or even the actual aero bars as well, which I find really useful. I'll leave some links down below if you want to find out a little bit more about Redshift. From me, take care. I'll see you in the next one soon. Bye bye.